to present the prose The Nightingale and the Rose by Oscar Wilde. I don't want to waste my time by saying about the author and all those things because I know, guys, you know about him very well. So let's get into the prose, The Nightingale and the Rose. First of all, I wanted to say the prose in short and sweet form. In this story, a young man, a student, is told by a woman that she would dance with him at the ball the next night if he brought her a red rose. However, he has no red roses, and he is vocalizing his despair when a nightingale hears him. The nightingale is touched by the soul of the student and desires strongly to help him. The bird flies around trying to find a red rose at various rose bushes, and none are red. He finally pierces his sword on a thorn to bleed onto the white rose, making it a brilliant red rose. And in the process of making a red rose, the bird nightingale and the rose is died. The student find the rose and is thrilled, so he plucks it and bring it to his love. In and he expected so much from his girl that she will dance with me and I can touch her, I can hold her in my arm, and he imagined so many things in his mind. But at the end, the girl rejects the rose, saying it won't match her dress. Plus, someone else has brought her jewelry, which is much better than the red rose. In the other side of the student, in the student mind, he got angry and walks away from the place where he met the girl, the professor's daughter, and throw the rose away and throw the rose in the gutter where it run over by a car. He decides that love is ridiculous and logic is better, goes home and read a book. From this, we can understand that the boy is so bookish characteristic. He's being a bookworm. He thinks that love is being so ridiculous, and love means nothing. Only education and wealth means everything for him. In here, there are some characteristics like the nightingale, the student, the professor's daughter, the oak tree, green lizard, and butterfly, daisy, and the prince, chamberlain, nephew, and rose trees. These are the six characters that are present in that is present in this prose, the nightingale and the rose. The nightingale is a bird who sacrificed her love to create a red rose, and the student is a student, an unscrupulous student who does not show any respect for nightingale for helping him. Plus, the boy doesn't know about the nightingale's sacrifice, and if he get to know about that, I would say that he definitely he would not throw the rose away. And the professor's daughter, a materialistic person who is insanely greedy for money. And the oak tree is a very sensible and it's an emotional characteristic that is present in this prose. And the fifth character, and in the fifth place, there are so many characters are present, like green lizard, butterfly, daisy. These are the three characters which is present in the fifth place. Like, they behave very cynically and they insult both the nightingale and the student. And in the sixth place, the prince and the chamberlain nephews and the rose tree is present. These people are the minor characters in the prose, the nightingale and the rose. So that's why they are presented. They are in the sixth place. And here are the characters of the characteristics. And about the nightingale, the nightingale supports the love of the boy, and she sacrificed her own love to she sacrificed her own life to a true love. And then by this we can understand the nightingale is a kind and honest and virtuous, supportive, innocent, and a sensible creature in the sensible creature which is present in this prose. And the student is, as I mentioned already, the student is a bookish characteristic, bookish boy who always who always wanted to study, and he's an shallow person shallow person. The professor's daughter, she insults the boy by saying that the red rose, she insults the effort of the boy. So by this, we can take the professor's daughter is an insulting and a cruel person. She hurt the feeling of the boy, So from that, we can say that she is a cruel person, and she is pretty. That's why the young student fall for her. So we can say she is a pretty girl. And about the green lizard, butterfly, daisy, who are in the fifth place of the characters list, they are being cheerful and cynical, and they are, as well as they are being an insulting character. They insult both the nightingale as well as the student. They insult both the characters. And the oak tree, the oak tree is being so sensible and being sensual. The themes of the poem is love, education, and human hypocrisy and deceit, and materialism versus romanticism. In love, true love needs sacrifices. That's why the nightingale stands for true love and sacrifices her life. And conditional love is seldom genuine. Professor's daughter doesn't love the student. That's why this represents the theme of love and education. Here, the theoretical education creates an unbalanced individual. Like the student doesn't show any practical common sense, and in for education, the student represent the education side, and other, as I mentioned already, others are hypocrisy, human hypocrisy and deceit, and the materialism versus the romanticism. Uh, and the other is techniques which are used in this process: personification, symbolism, metaphorical and alliteration, repetition, assonance, and visual imageries are used here. In this, there are many types of imagery are present in that order. In this poem, in this prose, the imageries like visual imagery and auditory imageries are present in this prose. And the the title, The Nightingale and the Rose, what we when someone say that it is like, so the story title is like a most of the fairy tales, like there is no specific reason, specific words are used here. When we see the title, The Nightingale and the Rose, we see it is as a it is common with the other fairy tales title also. We can say with confidence that The Nightingale and the Rose is about love, or even about a true love. The nightingale believes in true love, but gives her life in a pointless gesture, because the solitary rose that stems from her sacrifices does not achieve what it was designed to. In the end, the rose was in the gutter, and it is the cart is rolled over the rose. So in the final stage, the sacrifice of the nightingale was wasted. And significance of of the title, The Nightingale and the Roses. Uh, in this prose, there are four main characters: the red rose, the nightingale, and the student and the girl. The story revolves around the nightingale and the red rose, who sacrifices, who sacrifices their lives for a love left incomplete in the end. And this is the significance of the prose, the nightingale and the rose. And the nightingales, and in the nightingale and the rose means the and the rose means the main symbols. Like the red rose represent the difficulty and sacrifices associated with love, and the nightingale represent the compassion, connection, and a motherly care. And the student represent the negativity, and the girl represent the materialism. In this prose, what do you think about a true love? Who have the true love, the boy or a girl? In this prose, we can't say that the boy have a true love and the girl have a true love, because the nightingale is the only bird who sacrifices her life for a true love. So in this prose, the true love is nightingale. She was only one with sincere feelings for those feelings. She was prepared to sacrifice her life, even though she knows she would not gain anything in return. Um, and also, after knowing about that, also she sacrifices her love. And the tone of the girl and the rose is whimsical and romantic, but becomes sadder and more cynical by the end. At the beginning of the story, readers are immersed in romantic fairy tale, like landscape where birds converse with trees, and bigger sorrows have to do with broken hearts. In the starting, the readers, we think it has an usual fairy tale, but at the end, the writer shows the specific, the unique characteristics of the short story. And the story, Nightingale and the Rose, explain the relationship between man and nature. Like um, the nightingale and the rose, nature helped the boy fulfill his true love. As a nightingale and the rose is it's a story about nature love. The like While the writer connect the distinguishes between the two type of love, one is the materialistic love, and another one is sacrificing love. Finally, I would say that the prose, The Nightingale and the Rose, it's a fairy, it's a fairy tale, and it contains the characteristic of a fairy tale. Thank you for listening me. Have a good day.
Good evening, all of you. Today I'm going to present the short story Nightingale and the Rose by Oscar Wilde. If you look at the author, he was born on October 16, 1854 in Ireland, and he wrote many important English poets, dramas, etc. This is published in 1888. This is under the type of short story, and the Nightingale and the Rose is written by the third person omniscient point of view, and here the narrator uh, switches uh, the past tense to tell about the real to tell the fairy story. And the Nightingale and the Rose refers the principal character of the story. Principal character means the nightingale who searches the red rose. And if we look at the context, the Nightingale and the Rose was starts with the young students weeping. And let's we look at the summary. At this stories, in the beginning of the story, the students complains aloud to himself because he does not have a red rose. He won't be able to win the affection of his beloved person. The beloved person is the professor's daughter. But in his garden there is no red rose because that is the winter time. So nobody can get red rose. The nightingale who has made her nest in the oak tree in the student's garden overhears the student. The students declares that if he were to bring the red rose, the girls he thinks that the girls he will dance with her, and hand would be clasped in his, but that is not fulfilled by the young student. And the students weeping and mourning for his all night. And the nightingale asked the rose. Nightingale is presented as the one of the major role in this short story because it is represents as true love. Nightingale asked Rose Tree for a rose, and she engaged for a song, but the rose tree tells her it only grows white roses, and says she should seek out its brother and sisters. The nightingale set off searching of other rose trees, and but the tree doesn't have any red roses either. Instead of red roses, there are many roses in yellow and white. Um, um, Nightingale is uh, Nightingale become very despairs, but the rose tree offers her solution. But it is so terrible that the rose tree says that solution for this problem is the nightingale must sacrifice herself. Um, she must sing all night and sticking with her head in the uh, tree stone, so her own blood will flow into the white rose, and so it can change into red rose. Nightingale says yes for the solution, and she thought the young students is on and only a person who is in the true love is the nightingale's thinking, but that's not reality. Lastly, she ultimately decides her life to sacrifice. Love is better than life. It is one of the quote which she said, and the life of the bird isn't worth the same as the life of the man, because the man have many types of life, but in the bird's life that is not reality. And uh, the next day the student sees the new rose, and he is very happy, and because he doesn't expect the red rose, but he uh, ultimately bring the red rose to the professor's house to call on the professor's daughter, but um, um, calls professor's daughter with the affections and loves. Um, Professor's daughter see the rose. She says that it won't match her new dress, because um, he she has a ball at the evening on the prince house. So she said that Chamberlain's nephew has offered her real jewels, and all of us know that the jewels are more cost um, than flowers. And uh, in this here the professor's daughter is presented as the one materialistic person who expects jewels, and um, but um, the young student thinks of his poverty, and he dismisses love as worthless, declaring it not half as useful as logic. And he claims that because love is unpractical, it is not useful. And he says to concentrate more his studies. We can say that he's a student, because in the last para of the short story, he says that metaphysics is the word used in the text. Um, it is presented as a fairy tales also, because many fairy tales have the characters, animals, birds, etc. Here also we have the character nightingale, and it features characters is matching to the fairy story. Mm, and Nightingale searches for red rose, with takes as a symbolic quality of true art of romantic love. And she has multiple similar encounters with different rose trees, and but it is not uh, not expectable from the short story. Let's see, look at the characters. First of all, we look at the nightingale. Here, nightingale is a bird who has made her nest in the oak tree near the student's home, and while she is friendly and makes beautiful music, she is mostly appreciated with only the oak tree decide oak tree she decides to sacrifice herself. um, but the oak tree becomes the symbol of true friendship, because the nightingale says, I am sacrificing my life for the young students, telling to the oak tree before she is dying. And oak, she is passionate and um, presented as idealistic, and believes that love is the most powerful weapon, and weapon to prove the kindness. And she's also impulsive, and she's ready to sacrifice her um, uh, life for the student, because she believes that young students is be a true lover. Um, However impulsive she might be once, she um, the nightingale shows her courage and determinations of the love. Next, we look at the character, this young student. The students is mellow, one of the uh, self-pitying guy in this prose, and um, he mopes about his lack of rose rather than actually searching for one. Although he is portrayed as selfish and lazy, because he doesn't have any red roses, but he he is not interested in searching the red rose, um, but he is weeping for that red rose. Um, Here, the students believes himself with very wise, and the he only know that the things that are written down in the books. So we can say the young student have only bookish knowledge, and the young students uh, young students doesn't have practical knowledge, and he they haven't know the importance of true love. Um, and let's we look at the characters of Professor's daughter. Professor's daughter is one of the um, one of the materialistic person presented in this prose, and he put a condition to the young students. So we can say he is one of the she has conditional love, and um, she is not really have love with young students, um, and she is one of the very beautiful girl, and um, um, she believes that jewels are more cost than the kindness of flowers, and um, she um, she puts many ideas through the characters of this story. And look at the symbols presented in this short story. One of these symbols, the rose is the one of the main symbol in this short story. um, Rose represents many things. One of these is it is represents of art, and it is a product of Nightingale's beautiful singing and her sacrifice. The red rose could only be created by the Nightingale, and pouring the blood from her heart into the red tree, and while singing to the moon. This is representative of many demands art makes on a true artist. Red rose, normally we can see red rose is for love, and uh, let's look at the themes. Love is the most valuable theme in this short story, especially the teenage love. Experiencing teenage love is part of the process of growing up and forming their identity by and sense and self including their gender and identify the sexual orientation. Um, if we look at the questions in this prose, what is the theme of the nightingale and the rose? The main theme of this short story is love, because of the behavior of the students, and the story presented by sacrificing her life in order that the student may have the red rose to give to his beloved. Um, as most of us realize that some points in our lives, love isn't all. Love isn't more valuable, and here mainly based on the conditional love also. There are three types of love in this short story. One is true love, that is presented by the nightingale. Another one is immature love, that is presented by the young students. Another one is the materialistic love, that is presented by the professor's daughter. If we look at some most important quotes in the short story, here at last is the true love. It is said by the nightingale. The nightingale portrayed the impulsive, idealistic, and the poor judge of the character. Sees the student moping and believes him to be noble, romantic. She jumps to this conclusion because she wants to believe such a person exists. But in all my garden there is no red rose. This is said by the student. The student is complaining about how he doesn't have any red roses and thus won't be able to earn the dance with the professor's daughter, and he is one of the hopeless person without the red rose. It is in this prose mainly based on love, and the students believe himself and learned, but his concerns for bookish knowledge and has made him the deal of the nightingale speech and her earnest sensibility. Thank you for hearing. Thank you.